Hey, what's good fam? H&O here, and today I have the Figma Fate Apocrypha Saber of Red, better known as Mordred. Been waiting on this figure to come out ever since I saw this anime because I really dug her look. And so when they were announcing they were doing this, it was an instant pre-order for me. As you can see from the box, you've got all kinds of box art, standard Figma fare. As you can tell, that's not why we're here though. We're here for what's in the box. So let's get into this. And here we have her. Right off the bat, I love the silver and maroon paint scheme that they've got color scheme that they've got going on with this figure. As far as I can tell, as far as I'm concerned, she looks pretty screen accurate. I just really dug this overall design. I kind of like this armored skirt thing she's got going on. I think it's actually really cool looking. You'll see in a little bit, like I love how her helmet in the anime, her helmet kind of transformed into her suit when it would leave her head, and I thought that was a really nice touch. And you'll be able to kind of repeat that in a way with the figure. Like, it doesn't transform or anything, but you will have to do some part swapping. So you know, you have, like, you can see like the horns that are on her helmet. I'll just show you real quick. The horns that are on her helmet are on her shoulder pads, and yeah, there's a little bit of part swapping that's all up on the upper torso when you switch to her helmeted mode. But anyway, I have no complaints whatsoever with the look of this figure. I mean, she looks really sharp. All the paint apps on here are nicely done. There's no slop. I've got no complaints whatsoever. I was really impressed when I got this figure out the box and started messing around with it. So I'm just gonna jump right into the articulation. Her head is on a ball joint, so you can go all the way down. This is about as far up as she's gonna be able to look because her ponytail kind of gets in the way. The sculpt does, but she does, like I said, it's on the ball joint, so you can get, it's on a ball peg, I'm sorry, ball peg. So you get, you know, that's the whole system with Figma anyway. So anyway, you're gonna get all the rotation. The shoulder pads kind of get in the way, but you can kind of work your way around it, as you can see. Her ponytail also is articulated. So you have that. Actually, if you bend, now you can bend her head up. I forgot that her ponytail moved. Moving on to the shoulders, because of the part swapping and because of the how big the shoulders are, they do come out, so you can get some posability. So you can actually have her. She can actually double grip her sword, so you do have a lot of play. Don't worry about that piece. That piece always falls out. You do have a lot of play, so you can get some decent range of motion out of the shoulder articulation. She does have a bicep swivel because of the ball peg system that Figma has in her arms. So fortunately, because of all the armor, it doesn't look like her arm is broken because you don't really see any musculature, so that works. She also, you could get away with using the forearm swivel as this part, as the ball peg part, but she does have a built-in forearm swivel. Oops, kind of got stuck. It's a little hard to finagle, but it's in there and it's pretty firm. Her hands also ball pegged hands, so you get all the rotation you need. Just pop that off so you can see. And her upper torso, the diaphragm joint, it's also on the ball peg, so you get a lot of range of motion with that. You can get the hip swivel, you can get rotation that way. You can't really get any back and forth. It's all going to be on the upper body, so she bends back that far and she bends forward about that far. And I mean, you're not going to get you're not going to get any articulation in the hip swivel. As far as her legs, this is about as much of a split as you're going to get. But she's a swordswoman, not a martial art fighter, so that's not too bad. She does have thigh swivel, as you can see, because, you know, ball socket of joints. Her leg can move up about that high. Like, if you wanted to, you could kind of finagle the split a bit more, and then kind of play around to kind of give the illusion that she has way more extension in her kicks and whatnot, if you do have the figure kick. She does double jointed knees, and she has her ankles point forward, and they don't go that far back because of the sculpt of her boots. And as far as I can tell, she doesn't have any ankle rockage, which kind of sucks, because the feet are heeled. They're heeled boots, and you can get her to stand without a stand, like so. I mean, if you finagle it right, and if you play with the positioning a bit. But it's too bad, because she could have really benefited from some ankle rockers to kind of give her, so her feet can stay flat. But you can just always use a stand. Figma's always come standard with a stand, so you can always use that. Moving on to the accessories, she is a bit accessory heavy, because, like I said, the helmet transforms in the show, and so they wanted you to be able to replicate that. Also, her sword transforms as well. This is her sword in standard form. If you watch the Fate series, you can tell it does resemble Saber's or King Arthur's sword a bit in shape, especially around the hilt and the handle. So I dig it. It matches the rest of her costume with the silver and maroon color scheme. The paint apps on this could have been a little better. As you can see, it's like they didn't quite fill it all in. Could have been a bit better there. It's fine on this side, it's not bad, but on this side, yeah, it's like they didn't finish the job. But it's not terrible overall. And this is her sword in the powered up form, so I have both for comparison's sake. So you can see how the metal pieces shift, how it would shift in the anime if it was animated. And her sword, the sword blade, is glowing, and I do like this metallic blue and purple look that the energy sword kind of gets. Would have been cool to see this done as a translucent piece of plastic. I think they could have pulled that off quite nicely, but to kind of give it an energized effect. But I mean, this works too. I don't think this is really bad. And at least the paint apps on this sword are applied a lot better than on the other sword. So she also comes with 2 heads. She has her neutral smiling face. She has her, which this was standard on the figure. Then she has her like laughing little tooth, because she's a little tomboyish in the show. So I guess to show that tooth. And then the third face is the one you saw before, where she is kind of grinning, because she does like to fight, and so this is like her I'm enjoying the battle face. And this is her helmeted head, if I can get it out of the package. Really nice articulation once my camera focuses. I'm sorry, not articulation, it's a nice sculpt. The horns do come off. I'm not going to pull them off, but they do peg in. It's a irregularly shaped peg, so they can only go in one way, and they stay affixed at the correct angle. And yeah, I mean, I dig the helmet a lot, and it looks just like it did in the anime. It's Figma after all. And the other pieces that she comes with are their replacement shoulder pads, and this is a replacement chest piece. So basically, this is kind of annoying, like, to do on camera. It's a lot easier without the camera, but like how this piece fell off earlier, it just, as you can see, just pegs in the back. Because this is also supposed to be part of the helmet, as it, you know, transforms off her head and into the suit. But yeah, you would unpeg this piece. You can pull her shoulder pads out a bit to get more space, because these pieces of the shoulder pad pop out. As you can see, the yellow tabs are where they would slot into the shoulder. You can see the slots. If her head was out of the way, you could see the slots a bit. You can see one of them anyway. So you would pull these pieces out. For some reason, this one doesn't want to come out. It's being difficult. And this chest piece also pops out. So you have this weird. It looks weird because all the pieces are gone, but this new piece pops in, and it's actually easier if you pop her head off to do all this, because her head's not in the way, because you're gonna end up putting the helmet on last once you get all the other pieces in. She has this. You have the slotted just regular shoulder pieces that slot into the shoulder pad, or pauldron, whatever they call it. I don't know all the little lingo for armor, and I'm not really all that keen to learn it. But yeah, that pops in. And then I have to put this down because I have, unfortunately, this is taped in. This little plastic piece, as you can see, it's irregularly shaped, so it's gonna peg in one way and one way only. And that goes in there. This one stays in a lot easier than this piece, because even though it's the same shape, it's because you have these extra pieces kind of hanging off that it pops off, and it pops off a lot easier. And then this last piece is kind of like it's like a neck piece. This was actually this goes on over the sculpted neck. It's kind of like a additional turtleneck. I don't know why you don't just leave this on, but I guess, yeah, it pops in, and it holds pretty nicely because it's shaped just like the neck. And then you pop on the helmet, and you're done. And helmeted version looks really good too. I've got no complaints whatsoever with this figure. You know, other than the part swapping. That's not really a complaint. It'd be a complaint if it was with a transformer, but with this figure it's kind of okay, because it'd be too complicated to actually make the helmet piece off and then show the head underneath or whatever. So this works really well, and I dig it. I dig this figure overall. Like I said, this is a really good figure. I mean, I got nothing, honestly, nothing to really add. It's gonna fit in well with your other, if you got other figures from the Fate Stay Night or whatever. Like I've got the Saber. I got the Saber 2.0 on pre-order from Ami, so I can't wait till that drops so I can have these two square off. Because I guess apparently they're it takes place within the same universe or whatever. I don't know. That the Fate series is kind of weird with their timelines and their retellings and whatnot. But anyway, this is a good rendition of the figure. I also forgot to mention that her skirt pieces are on ball pegs, so yeah, you do get articulation that way. They're just not affixed. So yeah, I forgot to mention that, but I figured you probably saw in the review as I was playing around with the figure and moving it about that you could tell they were articulated. But yeah, that is gonna pretty much do it. There's not really much else to talk about this figure. It's easy to review these kinds of figures when they're done really well and everything is executed nicely. Barring a little bit of paint apps to, you know, nitpick on, that was pretty much the only things I had wrong with the figure. Other than that, I think this figure is a really good addition to anybody's action figure collection, especially if you collect primarily Figmas. You're gonna enjoy this figure a lot because it looks really good. And that's gonna pretty much do it. So leave your comments in the comment section if you've got anything you want to add, or if you have other suggestions or input or advice. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notifications so you can stay up on my next uploads, my newest uploads. And that is gonna pretty much do it until the next video. I'm Agent O and I'm out. Peace.